Namaskar. Welcome to PGurus Prime Time. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Today is Friday and it is Professor R. Vaidyanathan who's going to be gracing our channel. Professor RV, Namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel, sir.
Thank you very much. Namaskaram.
So, viewers, today we have a very interesting topic. Is DMK up to something? They keep bringing back this separatism. They haven't said it out as is, but they've been up to their old mischief, trying to put words. The words are used in a way that gives you a feeling that they think that they are separate culture. This thing has been going on for too long. It seems like they never want to listen to us when we provide them with irrefutable proof that Tamilians are nothing but Bharatavarshis. In no way are they different from Bengalis or Keralites or Kannadigas or Andhras or anybody. They're all the same. We're all the same. We all are followers of the Sanatana Dharma, and yet they somehow try to manufacture some narrative to say that they are different. And this continues happening now, although there has been a bit of a derailing recently because of what happened with Kongu Nadu. So this whole thing started with the erstwhile TN BJP president Dr. L. Murugan becoming a minister of state and in the central government, and when he was taking up his oath of office and his bio was given, in the bio it said in a very tiny text Kongu Nadu, Tamil Nadu, and that got people's shackles up. And then it has now been a lot of stuff going on. Is this the way it's going to go, or is the Tamil Nadu government saying or doing things that it should not be doing that sound secessionist? We will hear from Professor RV. I'm sorry for the long-winded introduction. As always, please click on the bell button. Professor RV, floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Sree Iyer. I'm very happy to again be part of the PGurus channel. The audience here is very knowledgeable, and many a time in the YouTube I get comments or observations which are very useful. So thank them. Today we are going to talk on a topic of this TN separatism. You call it Dravida Nadu, Tamil Nadu separatism. I will come back to that. The subtlety between all the thing. And it is off and on. It's not something which is permanent, but it is again rearing its head. And in a very interesting way, it is rearing its head when DMK is in power. Normally, when they are not in power, they are very aggressive on this. When they are in power, they become relatively more, sober and. But it's something very interesting. For that, we have to know something about this entire Dravidian movement, which is roughly of the order of 100 years actually. Not many people are. I always say there are three movements. So one is the communist movement, and another is that RSS, third is the Dravidian. All three are roughly 100 years old. Of that, communist is gone, except in the tea shop of JNU and a couple of other places in Kerala. Even Cuba is now only pending is North Korea. Anyhow, and the other is this Dravidian movement. How this Dravidian movement, understand, it is built on a tripod. What are the three legs of the stool? They were British stooges completely. That we should know. They never had any iota of patriotism or feeling for the country. And none of their leaders, including the Justice Party, including the DK, none of their leaders were in jail even for 1 hour, leave alone anything else, during the freedom struggle. And they mostly acted as agents of British in order to identify Congress people who are fighting the British. So that is one leg of the stool. Other is significant amount of obscenity was their forte. All their speeches and other thing, if you know, it will be very sad to, tragic even I would say, to read many of them which are highly appreciated. And so what they have done is they have made the taste lowest common denominator among Tamil speaking people. That is the second thing. Third is lies. They are king of lies. The way they tell lies, you won't believe it. And they will not even bother to correct it, even if pointed out that what you are telling is a lie. Because they strongly believe in the theory. If 100 times, if you repeat it, it will become a fact. It will circulate another. The British Stooges for a long period of time. I will give you one major illustration. 1919, I am sure many of you would have at least heard about Jallianwala Bagh, the massacre done by the British when thousands of people assembled there on April 6th to protest the Rowlatt Act. The unarmed people, without a warning, General Dyer ordered the army to shoot them. Estimatedly, some hundreds of people were killed, women, children, and some estimate put it even at 1,000. It was a most brutal, violent, unbelievable, uncivilized, barbaric act of the British army, British government, and it was condemned by one and all, actually, all over the world. Actually, our Sarojini Naidu is used to be told as the nightingale of the country. She travelled all the way to Britain, and in every town she was talking about this massacre, and people were very upset about it, in Britain also. In India, you don't have to. Everywhere there were protests and other things. Now, there is a book written by P. Ramamurthy. It's in Tamil. This is a book. Many people, communists might have forgotten him, but many others might not have. He is the founder of the Communist Party Marxist in Tamil Nadu, along with national level, EMS, Nambudiri Bhatt, B.T. Ranadeve and others. So he has written a detailed book on the freedom movement and the Dravida organizations. In that, he mentions about this. This book got published in 1983. He says something very interesting, because one or two of these things should be told to the youngsters. All over the country, there were protests against this brutal killing. On 12th of the same, 13th of the same month, it was a massive rally was held in Madras. In those days, it is called Madras actually, in the Marina Beach. Believe 1 lakh people were present. That time the population of Madras was hardly 4 lakh. 1 lakh people were present. And P. Ramamurthy explains how in those days meetings were conducted. Because there was no question of any, this loudspeaker and other thing in 1919. So what they do is, they had 12 different places, the dice constructed, and around, these 1 lakh were split into 12 groups at different places. So first dice, the leader will make a speech, and the sentences what he is telling will be told by the next dice man, and it will be passed on to the third dice man. Like that, 12 dice it will cover. Same language, no other issue, because there was no, and people were silently standing in 12 different locations in Marina Beach, listening to the leaders about the atrocities and genocide committed by British government. It's a very huge thing. And as I told you, this Sarojini Naidu went to England, and but there is an important exception to this protest against this massacre. That is what is important. On page 43, P. Ramamurthy, CPM founder, because you shouldn't think that I am trying to create some thing. I wish this book is translated into English by somebody. But this, greatest tragedy of the country, Justice Party, Sir P. Tyagaraja Chetty and Dr. T.M. Iyer, they gave a announcement supporting this massacre. Can you beat that? They told it massacre is justified. No paper was wanting to publish it except Madras Mail statesmen, Times of India, all of them were owned by British that time. Not only that, London Times also published it, and they made it appear as if this group is a very powerful group doing major work in Tamil Nadu and everything. One important thing you should know about the group, as in the northern part of the country, the differences between Hindus and Muslims were exploited by the British and accentuated over a period of time. Same way in the southern part of the country, they were trying to create a caste divisions and trying to make benefit out of that. So these two people supported the massacre of hundreds of unarmed women and children by the British Dyer, and anyhow we will not go into history. Later on attempts were made to kill the General Dyer, and that's history. Point I want to make is this Dr. Iyer has got a street in Chennai even today, and this Tyagaraja Chetty was given a huge parcel of land near a lake in a place which is now known as T Nagar. It's actually Tyagaraja Nagar. I lived there for nearly 20 years. I never knew this history till I read this book in 1984. It's a shame on Indians, more particularly on Tamils, that these two people names are in roads and in localities. In any other self-respecting nation, this board would have been removed and these two people would have been thrown into dustbin of history, but not in our country. This is very, very sad state of affairs. You can imagine. So this genealogy of this Dravidian movement is support to the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. This should be kept in the back of the mind. Not a single time later, till date, anybody has condemned the support given by these two people. This was taken. The second is, when India got independence, August 15th, 1947, the further post this Justice Party became what is known in terms of the DK, Dravidar Party, Dravida Kalagam it is called, which was headed by E.V. Ramasamy Naikar. He announced 14th August 1947 as a mourning day, declared it, and everywhere they hoisted the black flags all over the street, wherever they had the support and everything. Can you beat this? 1947 August 15th was declared as a mourning day. Prior to that, he begged actually the Britishers, you leave rest of India, but this part of India alone you should rule from London. Britishers were laughing, it's what is this new type of. Then he begged Jinnah. Begged means he has written letters and all that evidence is available. And he asked Jinnah to include this as part of Pakistan, for which Jinnah was very amused actually, because he was trying to get more territory in the northern part of the country, problem of East Pakistan and other things. Anyhow, the point I want to make is anti-national sentiment is a part and parcel of the genetic structure of this movement. This is extremely important to recognize and realize. There is no getting away from it or anything, actually. The second is, I mentioned to you about obscenity. They are actually the father of vulgarity and obscenity. One can easily say that. From day one, the Dr. Iyer, about whom I was telling, he talks about Annie Besant in a public meeting. This is again in KPS Menon autobiography, page 43. You can look at it, because none of this is built or made up by us. Dr. Iyer tells about the giant of freedom movement, Annie Besant, who was also the Congress in charge and who has written extensively on Mahabharata and other things. He says, this woman is of deep penetration, quick conception and easy delivery. Right? Can you beat this in a public? And everybody laughs and claps and other things. He carries on like this in many places. That is the origin of the obscenity of this group. And if you read what is known as Annadurai, they call Anna affectionately, all his writings are full of unprintable type of a thing. And EVR you can't talk about at all. For instance, the Tirukkural, which is supposed to be considered as one of the sine qua non of the height of the literature of Tamil world, with the philosophy and other things, he mentioned that Tirukkural is a human excretion kept on top of a golden plate and delivered to you. Why are you so much bothered about it? And much later, there is a controversy, of course. There was supposed to be one Congress leader. I am not wanting to tell this thing, but I am telling this in order to explain what type of a movement it is. There was supposed to be a Congress leader, Anandanayagi, who asked about Dravida Nadu in a light-hearted way after DMK came to power. It is alleged that Karunanidhi responded, you open the Nada, you will find Dravida Nadu. What he meant, accordingly, the explanation is, this is of course alleged, because the assembly, what one can call, the record doesn't seem to show this, but what he seems to have told is a double meaning, inundo. In the sense, Nada is also used for the red tape covering a file. So if you open the file, you will know about Dravida Nadu. That way also it can be interpreted. Anyhow, much later, you will find when Indira Gandhi was attacked in Madurai, and then she got blood oozing from her hands. It was reported, supposedly reported to the Chief Minister at that time, Karunanidhi. He seems to have commented, blood comes to women on various other occasions also. So this is not something new or something. This has not been denied. The third one has never been denied. And everybody knows about the way Jayalalitha was treated in the assembly. They practically tried to strip her in the assembly, and fortunately, it didn't happen, and she sort of came out another thing. Basically, is their approach towards the women is comprehensively despicable, actually, and they got claps and whistles for telling all these things. And this is the second tripod of them. Third tripod is lies. They are king of lies, I can assure you about it. No other political party in India or anywhere in the world can beat them. They construct false stories. So many false stories they have constructed, and they all thrive. It becomes factual because it is repeated again and again and again. Simple thing is, EVR is supposed to have got a UNESCO award. It came in the textbooks of Madras students also. Much later, it was proved he never got the UNESCO award. One local
Socrates of the Southeast.
Huh?
Socrates of the Southeast.
No, that is different. That is the current one, right? So the UNESCO, one local fellow made some UNESCO award, private limited company or something. He gave it to him, and that was propagated as a high level of. And so also, EVR is supposed to opened the Madurai Meenakshi temple for Dalit, which is totally lies. It was done by Vaidyanath Iyer and Pasumban Muthuramalinga Thevar. Pasumban told, anybody prevents any Dalit entering, I am standing there. I will see to it that nobody is prevented from entering this temple. And also it is told that EVR played a major role in Vaikom. He went after all the education is over as a tourist and came back. So the whole thing is a built up thing. And how do they succeed? Because from 1960 onwards, they captured the media. This is very, very important. In those days, the print media was very popular, and the print media was completely with them. And so there was no way of any questioning or anything. And even if the lie is exposed, it's it will be repeated again. That's all. Now they are finding it difficult. We will come to that because of existence of social media. They are able to, for instance, when they say something and then they are not able to implement it. In the earlier time, they always used to say, people will forget because you don't keep the print media permanently with you or anything. But not anymore. Now there is a constant reminder of what you told and what you are doing. That's slightly a different type of a thing which is emerging. In 1962, there was this Indo-China conflict and China aggressed India. After that, the constitution was amended telling any talk of secessionism is considered as treason. So, Anadurai was in Delhi, Rajya Sabha member, came back to Chennai and declared that they are giving it up totally, this Dravidian. Till then, they were telling Dravida Nadu or Sudugad. That means either we get Dravida Nadu, otherwise crematorium only for us. But he came and quietly gave it up. But recently, when Stalin has occupied power, he says 1957 manifesto of our party suggests that India is a union of states. In other words, he is sort of implying, and many of his assistants have told, so anytime the constituents of unions and go away. Fundamentally, there is a flaw in their argument because they are very weak in history. Always. Geography, of course, they are zero. History is, they are very, very weak. The 1951 Indian Constitution, when they talk about union of state, they are talking about the presidencies. Madras Presidency, Bombay Presidency, Calcutta Presidency, along with 540 plus samasthanams which merged with the union, which was the great work done by our friend Sardar Patel. Why great work? Because kindly remember, in those days there was no mobile phone, no easy availability of these flights and other things. But still this man did the task of bringing together 540 plus. Only one of them, this Hyderabad, was creating some trouble. He told you join or I will send the army. That was called police action actually. Then Hyderabad Nizam understood that there is no way he can, he also. So the union of that time is all the samasthanams and the prison. Then 1952 this Putti Sree Ramalu's fasting. 1956 we got this what are called linguistic states. So linguistic state is not something which was in the original idea of the union. That's the first thing. Second is, our union is not like that of the US or anything, where all the states, some states were occupied, some states voluntarily joined, nothing like that. Here the center has powers to change the borders of a state. Center has power to add states, like Sikkim was added, Goa was added. Center has powers to split states. UP was split into Uttarakhand on one side, and then we had the Chhattisgarh from MP. So this whole idea is peculiar, and so this talking they call in Tamil Ondriya Arsu, as if so far the leaders Anna as well as this Karunanidhi all used to call it as Madhya Arsu. Madhya means central government and the state government. For instance, one of the famous slogan is Madhiyil Kutachi Manilatil Suyachi of this DMK throughout the Karunanidhi time. Whenever he is able to get some power. Incidentally, they were in power with BJP from 2000 to 2004. Then from 4 to 14, they were with UPA. They were always enthusiastic in getting power at Delhi. Whenever they got power at Delhi, and they had a lot of ministers. Actually, at one point of time, the second son of Karunanidhi, who is currently the chief minister, he was deputy chief minister of the state. The elder son, called Alagiri from Madurai, he was the central fertilizer and chemical minister at central government. His daughter from what he calls is not his wife, but his friend. And because somebody asked him about his daughter Kanimozhi, he told such and such a person is the mother of Kanimozhi. That type of explanation he gave. Anyhow, she was the Rajya Sabha member. That is something very interesting. And his grandnephew was the communication minister, Naran. In other words, his whole family was occupying so much important positions at Delhi. In those days, he will say, Uravukku kai koduppom, urimekki. That means, for relationship, we will give our hand and shake. If you want to have our rights, we will raise our voice. He never raised his voice. And almost all these things they approved actually. The NEET was during their time. Kachadivi was donated during their time. So when you are in power at Delhi, you speak different language. When you become opposition, you begin to speak. This is a standard type of an activity. They were never, concerned about this double type of a talk and other thing. And somehow or other, people were highly enamored by it. At least a section of the people were very much enamored by it. Now what is happening? They have come to power. This is very important. And they are in the state government. They are not in central government. And so that means it should be now silent. When I told you, if you are in power, you become relatively silent because your focus is on making money. That's what is the focus of all the what you may loosely call F20. I always used to mention. When in power, make money. But this is what I call, in English it's called Russian terminology. In English is ambient conflict. That means it's a conflict, but not always on a bigger side. It's like a coal which is used in the olden days to cook food. After the food is cooked, the coal is, you don't throw water on it or anything. You put a vessel on top of it and keep it. Whenever it is required, you remove the vessel, you take a pipe and then blow it. And the ash will go away and the coal will begin to. So this is the process. So this is called, most important is who has got the pipe. That is the most important thing. Kashmir is an ambient conflict for the last 70 years. So now currently we seem to be having the pipe. So who has got the pipe is the most interesting part of the story. So this ambient conflict, so whenever they are not in power, they will use the pipe to make issues. But something very interesting, after coming to power now, sorry, they are acting in a way which is as if they are in opposition. So what is this which is happening? One is, I told you about the Ondriya, that is the Union of States. Then normally the governor's address in the assembly ends with Jai Hind. Apparently this time the Jai Hind has been deleted by the finance minister. That's what the press reports say. Anyhow, if the governor did not end the speech with Jai Hind. But after that, one of the MLAs of the DFK, who is by name Iswaran, he made a very fascinating issue of it, appreciated that Jai Hind has been deleted. None of them know about the history. Very sad state of affairs. The Congress MLAs, something like 17, 18, the BJP MLAs, something like 4, were all silent. The Jai Hind actually is one of the fundamental war cry of the Indian National Army of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Believe me or not, sir, that had something of the order of nearly 10,000 soldiers from Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu gave the largest contingent for Indian National Army, which went, Singapore, and then they were coming through northeast portion inside India. And this war cry was made very popular and famous by one Senbagaraman, who is a Tamilian actually. So, by insulting Jai Hind, the entire DMK party and the chief minister was looking at it happily, as thoroughly discredited themselves and completely made a mockery of INA. So any sincere follower of Netaji, anybody who has got any iota of respect for him, would completely disagree and condemn the behavior in the assembly. I hope they expunge the remarks made by that MLA. That is one part of the story. And of course, the Congress was silent because I think the Congress has lost its moorings. It has become a branch of the ruling DMK. I'll give you an example. There is an MP from Erode, one lady MP. She went and garlanded Iyer statue on Independence Day of the last year. Can you believe that? She doesn't even know that Iyer asked that 15th August of 47 should be a mourning day. His role in getting independence to India is zero. Actually, it is negative, if at all one has to ask. So I think Congress has completely forgotten anything about its history. So, but I hope that others put pressure and asked this to be expunged. Then they have appointed one gentleman called Lionel. He is famous as the chairman of the Textbook Society of Tamil Nadu, school textbook. His name to fame is he used to be conduct all these debates in television as well as in public, and he will make a lot of funny remarks, obscene remarks, anti-woman remarks, and other things, and got away with it. But he and education, there is no linkage at all, except he claims he has been a teacher for a long period of time. Some people say he was a PT teacher, some people say he was a physics teacher. Anyhow, now he says he will change the entire textbook of students for the next, it will have implication for the next 20 years, that there won't be any mention of central government. All of them will be one area government, that means the union government. Not only that, he also wants to introduce Karunanidhi's life into the textbook.
Sir, which life is he going to introduce, sir? His vegetarian life or the not so vegetarian lifestyle?
All lifestyles, perhaps. I do not know really. And then there is one Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission. Deliberately, they have appointed one priest, one Christian priest, Salesian order, who is known to be sympathizer for Naxalite, and he is also a virulent conversion person. He has been put into the. It's very funny actually, because why should you appoint a priest of the Christian order into the Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission? For instance, if any other government, saffron government has appointed a Hindu monk or something, it would be a huge amount of human crime. So this is, and last but not least, very recently, yesterday only, day before yesterday, there was a group of people telling human rights. They represent in Tamil Nadu. They went to Coimbatore, one of the army regiment. Outside is a slogan called Vetrivel Veeravel. It's a sort of a war cry for that regiment, and which means success to the spear and honor on a great spear. Veil is the spear which is used in the war. That's all. These people told it's a religious thing, and army should remove all the religious. And as usual, our national media also picked it up. Even if three fellows go and stand in a place, as long as one correspondent is there who is sympathetic to the Dravidian cause, he goes there, and then it will become they do not know actually that the Marathas have Har Mahadev as their war cry, and the Punjab regiment has Bole So Nihal, and Sat Sri Akal. Rajput regiment has got their war cry, Bol Bajrang Bali, and Rajputana rifle is Raja Ramcha Ki Jai. Like that it goes on, And these war cries did not come in last 5 or 10 years. It's been there for ages actually. This is to deliberately, they say that it should be made secular. I do not know what war cry they would like to have, right? Let's fight, that type sort of a, that's not going to, the concept of war cry, they all should know. And it's a deliberate thing, I'm telling you. And this Human Rights Federation is actively associated with PFI also, which is associated with SIMI of the, student Islamic movement. So it's a very, and other thing is, this DMK always say they represent the interest of states, but not a single state out of 28 supports them on anything. Recently they were telling NEET should not be permitted in Tamil Nadu. That common entrance exam for medical, for the simple reason there is a huge amount of vested interest in Tamil Nadu. These private medical colleges which have come up, which all thrive on huge amount of donation, 1.5 crore, 2 crore, like that. So if the admission is based on NEET, quite possible they would lose good amount of money. That's the main reason. There is no other. So the NEET should be opposed and all that thing. NEET is conducted in Tamil also, incidentally. It's not required you should be expert in English. You should be expert in the subject only. So No other state has come forward supporting this abolition of NEET. Actually, many people say earlier we used to write 7, 8 exams for different institution to enter. Today, at least, we have to write only one exam. And then there is a lot of lies is spread that village people cannot become doctors. Rural poor children are all affected. And actually, statistics show the reverse. 400 children were admitted from Tamil Nadu. Earlier, it used to be of the order of 130, 160. Anyhow, as I told you, lies are the basic, building block of this group and movement. And this government hurriedly appointed one retired judge to get into the bottom of NEET. And that judge made a email type of an announcement. I do not know why all people of Tamil Nadu were asked to give their opinion on medical entrance. Medical entrance, the opinion should be asked from students, maybe teachers in medical institution and doctors. I do not see any reason, but anyhow, everybody was asked. So tamarind merchants and this street side, pushcart vendors, anybody can answer. They got some 84,000 responses, and it appears large number of people told we are not for NEET, as if I do not know how many of them understood at all. Anyhow, the point I want to stress is none of the other states are with them in any of these type of demands and other things. How did they flourish? Fundamentally, they flourish because of the benign neglect shown by the Delhi government all through from 1970, what I call the benign neglect. Whenever they ask for something, it will be given like give a chocolate to the child type of thing. So there, for instance, in the 70s, Akashvani was introduced as a introductory thing in the radio system. And they told, no, we won't accept Akashvani because it is Hindi, without realizing for a minute that Akashvani was originally introduced in 1920 by the Mysore government, erstwhile Mysore government, and it is popular. Akash is used in Tamil also. Akasam is, everybody knows it talks about sky. Anyhow, and then immediately it was agreed that you can have it as All India Radio. I am just giving an example. So whenever some demand comes, it was Navodaya schools were started all over the country. It's reasonably less costly, and quality education is also imparted. Tamil Nadu sold no Navodaya school because you may teach Hindi. It's a very interesting thing because in Tamil Nadu, ICSE, CBSE school teach Hindi, matriculation school teach Hindi, but they don't want Navodaya to. Again, there is other component called Kendriya Vidyalayas. And there the MPs are expected to recommend. They can, expected being they can. And I am told each MP collects anywhere between 5 to 8 lakh hafta for recommendation. That is okay. In those schools, what you call Hindi is taught. So wherever you can make money, there is a large number of CBSE schools run by leaders, children of leaders of DMK and other type of Kadakams. And they all, have the option of Hindi. So that they call business. For instance, there is a simple thing. Stalin's daughter has a school in Chennai where Hindi is taught. But they say that is a personal, this is something very interesting. Other fellows should not learn this language. But I will encourage the people to learn the language. So this is a very, very tricky situation we have entered into. Most of you would have heard about this Kudangulam problem, which went on for quite a number of years. Church was one of the fundamental instigators of that problem. It was supported by global forces. One German NGO was expelled from India. Mild-mannered Manmohan Singh told foreign NGOs are trying to create obstruction for any type of development activity in our country. This is told by Manmohan Singh, not by a man who rarely makes any type of a rash or any observation or anything. He told this actually. And there is one Udaya Kumar who was in the forefront. He stood for election. I think he got some maybe 100 votes, or I do not know about it. The point is, the East Coast, the church claims that it is their territory. No activity should be carried on without the permission of the church. This is something politically oriented church I am talking about. On the west coast, some of you would have reading about Lakshadweep and other thing. There is a huge amount of influence of what you may loosely call radical Islam. So they also claim that the west coast belongs to us. So the type of situation which is emerging is not a very desirable thing. Some of you would have also read about Chinese influence in Sri Lanka, how Hambantota is becoming more like a separate country where you require visa to enter. So, are global forces now becoming active in creating these postures of DMK? This is something very, very important. There is one MP of supporting party, Y. Kopalasamy. He says, openly he says, by 2047, India will be split into several countries and Tamil Nadu will be one of them. He says, if you have the inclination and possibility, arrest me. He openly, it is there available in the video. 2047, that is 100 years of our Independence Day will be celebrated. We won't be a single country, he says. So there is a emerging situation in the south. Now, as I told you, the media is completely with them. There is hardly, that's why most of these other political parties like AA, DMK or BJP and other things, they don't even participate in any discussion these days. Because the discussions are all held within the supporting structure of separatism. So this is something, and the second is, most important point is, this Dravidian movement was never for entrepreneurship. Show me one paragraph in support of entrepreneurship written by any of those leaders, EVR or Karunanidhi or nobody writes anything. They are all not for any entrepreneurship. So what has happened is, most entrepreneurial part of the state is western part of Tamil Nadu. So they feel significantly neglected. They have not been given adequate amount of neither recognition nor share in the taxes nor water facilities. So many, they have a lot of grievances actually. They are also a dry state, dry place, and from the dry place they developed the industry of different nature and brought it into some level actually. And again there, other than Coimbatore and adjacent smaller town, other portions are all very, very dry and requiring a lot of attention and other. And that is the western part, and that is called the Kongu. And that's where, this whole rumbling is there, that we would like to be another type of a state or something. So, but 1957 manifesto, Stalin is going back. This is something very interesting. And he has appointed a group of experts. I am very, very skeptical and suspicious about them. This Raghuram Rajan and the usual suspects who are told that their country, nobody listens to them in US or in UK. So they want to advise India because they long time before they were from India. And in India now Delhi is not listening to them. So they have shifted their camp to Chennai. So I am very concerned because they could provide some sort of a very obnoxious type of an advice that the state should have huge amount of power or some such thing. I am very concerned about it. They do it, it is going to add fuel to fire. Already this man has got Stalin has got some sort of an advertisement. London Economist has covered him as one of the most, I do not know how London Economist is able to assess people within a couple of weeks of coming to power. It says he is one of the most efficient administrative, and then having all this characteristics and other things. So the global media and some of the global experts and NGOs might be egging him. This is my hunch. He is getting pushed around in order to, or he may be completely with them, either of the two. So as the next, within 2-3 years, I visualize the noise for this independent Tamil Nadu will gain ground. Now, what is center doing? Sorry to tell you honestly, in central government, many a time the right hand doesn't know what right hand is doing. This is something very, very critical to observe. One is Tamil Nadu is far away. All their supposed problem of terrorism and other thing is supposed to emanate only from Pakistan. I am telling, the southern state of Tamil Nadu is going to be has hard a nut to crack. You see, this family of 20, there are families in Uttar Pradesh, there are families in Andhra Pradesh, there are families in Bihar, but none of the other family of 20 are, you can classify them as anti-national. This is very, very important. They all want power, they all want to make money, they all want, they abuse BJP and that goes on. But none of them you can really say wants to be having a separate. This family in Tamil Nadu is very, very tricky and dangerous, venomous, I can tell you that much. Because in the next 3 to 4 years, they will be forced to go for either complete surrender to center, which I do not know. I am not giving a significant amount of marks for that, or more and more fishy-piracy tendencies. Other states are not going to be with him. Maybe part of Kerala. None of the other states are. For instance, Kerala, one of the largest knitwear maker has shifted from Kerala. Naturally, he should have come to Coimbatore because of the facilities, actual as the atmosphere and other. But he didn't. He was not encouraged by the current government too. So the current government is not very enthusiastic about having more industries or more infrastructure development or anything like that. And it is going on rhetoric. It's going on old slogans. Tamil is in danger. I cannot understand how Tamil can be in danger. Tamil is there for 2000 years. Suddenly, how can Tamil be in danger? And so center, according to me, is not fully realizing the implication of what is happening. One could be, I am being very honest, language problem, because much of what is coming in social media, Facebook, and local Tamil media, I don't think is comprehensively read by the central security or central agencies and other things. I have been arguing even for social media. This Twitter and Facebook are appointing what are called the officers.
Compliance officers. Compliance officer.
But it's only one officer. There should be a compliance officer for different languages, because he may not know Tamil at all. Who is going to tell him what is getting published in Tamil? You should read the Tamil Facebook, Tamil Twitter. You will understand A, what level of obscenity is present there. B, what level of separatist tendencies are encouraged there. So this is, day before yesterday, if I remember, Supreme Court judge told, after 70 years, should we still be having the sedition law? I would humbly, honestly request Chief Justice Ramana to read or keep a translator and read what is written in Tamil Facebook and Tamil Twitter. Then he will understand the implication of having the sedition law. It's a very, very serious issue actually. And nobody is trying to impress upon these social media that they should have compliance officer for different languages. It's not single country with only one language. So there is a huge amount of pressure building up. I do not know which way it will go. And the inability of this current government in Tamil Nadu to meet any of the expectations or their promises, because their promises are coming back to them like the football, and like a print media at time. Large portion of the media is in their control. But how long they will be able to sustain it? Because sooner or later people are going to question what you are doing and other thing. And so there is a global forces are going to become very active. I would not be surprised if the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu is invited to US to attend some universities and other thing, and then given more encouragement and incentives in order to talk in terms of the most efficient administrator who should carry the burden of the entire Tamil Nadu on his shoulder and other. And almost all, even 3 days before, he said the gold people who have gone to Olympic for gold medal and other thing, I am extremely happy for them. They should win medal. And when they come to motherland, I don't know what he means by motherland. Does he mean the Ondriya Nadu or does he mean the India? It's not clear. So this ambiguity is continuing in many of the debates and discussion and other thing. So as it continues, the demand for this Kongu Nadu and this Pandya Nadu will increase, because the only way in which you can meet the separatist tendencies of Tamil Nadu is to look at it in terms of splitting it up. And one of the major leaders of Tamil Nadu has been asking for it, Dr. Ramdas, for quite a number of years actually. According to me, we should have a separate state reorganization commission. Large number of bigger states can be split. Why should UP have 75 districts? UP is bigger than many of the European countries. It's not easy to manage another. So smaller units can be created, nothing. And the language is no more a major binding factor or anything. This is only in some sections of this DMK and other Kazhagam. They are shouting about Tamil and there are 40 lakh people from outside Tamil Nadu working in Tamil Nadu today. Tamil Nadu is in significant amount of labor movement has taken place, significant movement of capital has taken place, and similarly large number of people from Tamil Nadu are also moving out. I am actually advocating that UP and Bihar, UP, Madhya Pradesh are all significantly developing, and it is required for Tamil Nadu people, students, youngsters to get a speaking knowledge of Hindi. Speak and understand. I am not telling they should become great experts in Hindi or anything. And then only you will have opportunities which are coming up in other states where you can, for instance, Orissa, Gujarat and Maharashtra, so many non-Hindi speaking states have all by and large accepted as a Hindi as a communication language, not as any other major official or anything. So the shape of things to come, one has to wait and see. I would only urge the center to carefully observe the nuances, the type of developments which are taking place. And last but not least is this Foreign Contribution Regulation Act is something which I have been asking it should be banned. Huge amount of funds are coming to the NGOs. For instance, this Kudangulam agitation was funded and financed by a large number of NGOs globally. Between 2005 and 2016, 1 lakh crore has come into India. 1 lakh crore has come into India in the form of helping these NGOs. And most of these NGOs are indulging in activities which are anti-national, which are inimical and accentuating only the fault lines within the country. And of course, there is another route also they are taking, which should be sometimes some of the NGOs or their leaders are given some awards by some German or Dutch or Norwegian agencies. Huge awards, in the form of something like $10 million or $50 million. And that award is how it is used, what type of distribution is done on that, another thing is not clear at all. So FCRA should be totally scrapped according to me. Whatever you want to do, even if you want to talk separatism, you get funds from domestic. Why should it depend upon global funds and other thing? And these awards and other thing should be closely monitored, and if it is of suspect in nature, it should be rejected. It should not be encouraged by the central government. So it is very much required for center to open both of its eyes to the southern developments and not go for a benign neglect. And then when it is too late, no point in telling, oh, if only we had known. No, we all know what is happening. It is required for agencies to act. This is most important. And wherever there has been some misdemeanor or wrong, they should be punished. Faster their punishment comes, better it would be in terms of their ability to make noises. They will at least make less noises. This is what I would like to say. So, any other points can be covered?
Sir, I have one question, sir. In the recent official signing of the artificial island development project off the coast of Sri Lanka, very close to Colombo, means that China has now a listening post from where it can monitor along the east coast everything. And I have been hearing that China also is trying to stoke some of these mischief along the border, and in fact in Tamil Nadu specifically, let's say. So given that this is also happening and this is a reality, China says that the artificial island it develops will not be under the jurisdiction of Sri Lanka. It is said that.
Yeah, yes.
So that means you are basically saying there is a Chinese territory within kilometers of India, and this is not separated by Himalayas. So with this,
China would like to use the fault line in Tamil Nadu full-fledgedly. I am telling you, fully, because that is the one area which is very attractive to them. And periodically, you know that something very interesting. There is something called 7 or 8 centers in China where Tamil is taught. And there is a Peking radio has got the Tamil channel, which is popular. And they are brought here and they all speak sort of funny Tamil, but since it is Tamil. And so China has got significantly its eye on Tamil Nadu. No doubt about it actually. And there are many of these, old-time communist and various other riffraff groups which are so enamored by China. According to even if they get corona, they will be happy because it has come from China. That type of approach. And this is many well-intentioned people are warning the center. But as I told you, they should open their eyes and look at what is happening. The threat is not only from northwest. The threat is also from south. I think
yes, indeed. And so this is another new emerging dimension that the central government needs to be aware of. Note that I did not use the word union government. I said central government. That is the way it should be done. Anyway, sir, this has been a fascinating discussion, and with your permission, now I can go to the Q&A session. Shall we start listening to some questions, sir?
Are there some questions?
Yes, quite a few in fact. So we need to go through them quite quickly. Sachin Sharma wants to know, what change do you see in Tamil Nadu politics with IPS Annamalai becoming the state president and seeing how BJP is welcoming him via the grand tour of the state?
Yeah, there is no doubt about it that there is a significant amount of interest, particularly because he is relatively very young in terms of, but it would take a lot of time. You see, there are something like 21,000 or 22,000 villages in Tamil Nadu. So it requires to be spread, and fundamentally what Muthuramalingam told in terms of Deivigam and
Anmigam.
So this should be our Deivigam is Anmigam, one eye, and Desiyam is the nationalism, the other eye. So Tamil Nadu has to be brought into the national mainstream, and that's not going to be a very easy task. It's going to be a marathon effort, actually, I would say. If somebody like Annamalai succeeds with that, nothing like that.
Next question from Mr. Lee. Do you expect protests in Tamil Nadu against the new Electricity Amendment Act proposed to be introduced in the monsoon session of the Parliament?
Yeah, it's a good act, but it's not going to be very easy. Let me tell you. They say that electricity will be similar to mobile phone, where people can choose their service provider, but it's not as easy as it is going to be. All the many states will tooth and nail oppose it, because for many states, electricity department or electricity ministry is a major money-making activity. So that is the thing. It's not, it's not only Tamil Nadu. In this particular thing I am telling, many other states are also not going to be enthusiastically welcoming it. Let's see how it takes place.
Mr. Lee again, will separatists invite the Taliban to invade India just like Najib-ud-Dawla invited Abdali to fight the Marathas 200 years ago?
It is what is that? We invite Taliban? No.
No, yeah. Will the separatists in India invite Taliban to invade India just like this guy?
I don't think they would go to that extent. It's not very easy also on the Western front. But Talibanis within the country can create enough amount of damage. That is the most important thing. There is no need to explicitly call anyone into the country.
Raghavendra Prabhu wants to know, are we unnecessarily discussing about EVR? H. Raja gave wide publicity, sir. Can we have a united action on how to handle media in Tamil Nadu? How do you counter this narrative, fake narrative?
Oh, the countering of the narrative has to be on a significant level, intellectual level, social media level, public level, and other thing. It's not going to be an easy task. Let's be clear. What has been built on lies, obscenity, and this type of story building over a long period of time is not going to be easy. And now, as we observe, some of the global forces are enthusiastic about it and they will support it. So it's what you may loosely call this simple thing. I told you for 20 years I did not know that these useless fellows were supporting the British in the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Can you beat that? So that is the type of lies and history spread in the street. And the media is completely, as of now, with the Dravidian elements. More or less. There could be one or two exceptions. And let me tell you, it is alleged that most of the senior correspondents of the media, reporters of the media, both domestic as well as those who work for the external media in television channel in Delhi and Bombay and other thing, many of these reporters and correspondents, it is alleged that they are in the payroll of DMK. They get monthly pay, which is slightly more than the salary sometimes. So every news they will try to twist and make it appear favorable to the state government as of now.
Mr. Lee wants to know, are we seeing the effects of Samachir Kalvi, which was introduced in 2010-2011?
It was a disaster. There is nothing called basically what it brought down the level of standard of education. Outcome surveys have revealed that Tamil Nadu, 65% of people in level 4, that is standard 4, cannot subtract 2-digit number from another 2-digit number. So we are good in quantity. We have huge number of quantitative indicator. We are number 1 or number 2 or number 3, whatever it is. But in terms of the outcome, similarly, quite a number of these performance studies. I am quoting actually from the 15th Finance Commission document. from some of these studies. Similarly, second standard, they are not able to comprehend simple words and other things. Similarly, eighth standard people are not able to fully comprehend fourth standard textbook. All of them are in the range of 50 to 60%. So, in terms of outcome measures, Tamil Nadu is around, if I remember correctly, 17 or something out of 28 states. So, Samachir Zalvi is nothing to be proud of.
Next question from Chetan Pai. Sir, do you think the Kannada media is not as vicious as the Tamil media towards Hindu/Brahmins, or don't you see any difference?
No, it is not. I agree. It's not as vicious, but on a 0 to 10 scale, if you give Tamil media something like 9, Kannada media you will give some 7 or something.
Next question from Chetan Pai again. Sir, is it true that the Christian lobby in DMK is against NEET? If so, why?
What is that? Christian lobby in DMK is?
Again, Christian lobby is against NEET, NEET, NEET. And if the answer is yes, why?
No, it is not just Christian lobby. It is so many lobbies are there. All those leaders who have started medical colleges, private medical colleges, they used to admit students based upon +2 marks under the Samachir and other thing. Every student will claim that they have scored 990 out of 1000. Basically, they used to collect what is known as capitation fee. And now, indiscriminately, anywhere ranging from 60, 70 lakh to going up to 1.5 crores. Now, that has been hit. That is the primary problem.
Next question, Mr. Lee, do you think development of Tamil to Hindi and Tamil to English artificial intelligence language models can open the eyes of center to developing situations in Tamil Nadu?
Yeah, definitely. But that will also impact, according to me, the so-called craze about language chauvinism. See, there is many people may not be knowing. In France, there was a election campaign done using thermal images, which simultaneously translated the language in the Corsican French as well as, France is of course French language, but there are a lot of what you may loosely call accent and, you can say that you have English but not the same between England and USA. So this AI can have simultaneous translation of the spoken language, and it would undercut significantly the fervor or the chauvinism for a particular language.
Next question is from Chetan Pai. Sir, where do you see the Make a Dhatu issue going?
No, it will, as usual, it will go on in terms of some controversy. Like the original Kaveri issue, finally the Supreme Court has to order for a board or something. Like for instance, the primary Kaveri issue is not talked about nowadays at all. For the simple reason, the board decides and tells. Recently, for instance, Karnataka opened a significant amount of water for Tamil Nadu. It was not even reported in the newspapers. So, same thing only it will take. The only thing is, the ruling party in Tamil Nadu may try to accentuate the issue in order to, score some brownie point and other thing.
Vignesh wants to know, how can false news propaganda be punished for fake news in a swift and speedy manner?
How can
fake news, for example, I'll give you an example, sir. Supposing it is proven that they deliberately broadcast fake news. Can we take down the channel for one day? Is that a way to punish them?
It should be a way, but I think you know about it. There was a move long time before that NDTV should be not allowed even for one day at least, another thing, but it did not succeed. Not only it did not succeed, finally NDTV conducted their function inside the Rashtrapati Bhavan, Central Hall. Right? So, there are so many type of vested interests which has developed in our society and country.
Sir,
So,
today there's a slight difference, sir. Today in Google, if you contravene any of their guidelines, your channel will be taken off air. It could be 1 month sometimes. It could be completely shut down. So there is a lot of things, and they do it instantly. They don't give you a chance to plead your case or anything like that. The decision is handed down. You can appeal. 99.99% of the time, the appeal is turned down. So
yeah.
there is no reason why the government cannot do the same thing for channels also, is what my take,
No,
sir.
I'm not telling government cannot do it. There is a political will required to do it.
Sir, here is the next question, and this is something that's very close to your heart. Vignesh wants to know, when will this false Dravidian history be taken away from the textbooks? Will the new education policy rewrite history?
No, it will rewrite history, but again, Tamil Nadu is telling it is not going to accept NEP. It says other states should also join. No other state is joining Tamil Nadu. This is the position as of now. I do not know what will happen in the next 1 or 2 years, but as of now, they are not going to. Their textbook will be biography of Karunanidhi and historiography of Iyer only. That is the current position, right?
Right.
Not.
So next question, Bhairava Subramaniam, is it constitutionally illegal act by DMK for making false promises in election manifesto?
Ayo. That is, constitutionally, it's a very tough question because every political party makes all sorts of promises, right? Including the current ruling party at center. Have they fulfilled all their promises? It's a very ticklish issue. It's for the public to be more discerning and see that what type of, reasonable level of not able to implement the promise is one thing, but to promise something which can never be thought about is another. This is what is happening.
Sir, MD Ravikant wants to know, isn't the sporadic talk about separatism only a propaganda tool for DMK to pander to a small section of fringe elements, or do you think they are serious in this matter?
I am very much with him. It's to pander to the small section, but today it's a very peculiar situation. They are in power, but they are raking it up. So it gives rise to concern whether there are certain global forces which are instigating this. Because normally when they are in power, they become more silent. They would like to make money. That's all. Nothing more or nothing less. But in spite of being in power, this matter is being brought about to the front. Is something which is, causing anxiety or puzzle actually, if you ask me.
Sir, there is one thing that got mentioned. I was on a hangout with Dr. Subramanian Swami in Gyan Ganga, and we were having a fairly feisty discussion about various things. One of the things he said was a possibility, and this is again, I'm sure Center has modeled this, is a possibility that Tamil Nadu, along with some parts of Sri Lanka, could say that we are a separate country now, and that China could recognize that. So this is a real.
It's not going to be a, there is a possibility, but it's not going to be very easy. I can tell you that much. Whatever said and done, Indian state is very, very powerful, and extremely it will be. The only point again and again we are stressing is it should be acting much before the event, not after the event. Otherwise, after having so many decades, this Article 370 we abolished it. That type of a thing we should never get into. We should be ahead of time.
And MD Ravikant wants to know, will appointment of Annamalai as BJP chief help to develop nationalist sentiment and act as a counterbalance to any talks of separatism?
Yeah, we have to wait and see, I would say. It's too early for us to. Relatively is young and highly qualified, another thing, but we have to wait and see how it shapes up.
This is the last question for today, sir. From P. Ram. Why is narco analysis not allowed as a standard method to get the truth?
Oh, there is a lot of controversy about it, about this narco, how much it can really bring about the basic facts and other thing. Second is there are many reports of some misuse of this narco analysis also. For instance, when Kanchi Shankaracharya was arrested, there are some reports which suggested he was given the narco, and then many of the statements and other thing were sort of what was received from him.
We
The
appeared.
animal testing of all of the medicines and other thing. So that is the reason why courts are slightly skeptical in taking the entire narco into for a full-fledged acceptance.
With that, we bring our today's hangout of Ask RV to an end. This is episode 11. Thanks for joining. Do press the bell button, and we'll be back again, not next week, but the week after that, about your favorite topic, media. Professor RV, thank you very much, sir. And as always, a pleasure
Thank
having
you.
you on our
And
platform.
tell all your audience that next week we are not joining because you are going to celebrate your entry into the 60th, right?
Yes, indeed. I'll be completing 60 years of age.
So
The
we'll
next Friday is when I will
give you
be
today, and
turning.
then let Lord Ganesha give you all the blessings in order to fulfill all your desires and requirements for the coming year.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
And
you.
I'm just getting started, so we are having a lot of fun along the way. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks a lot.